Hey everyone. So, with Pandemic 2020, Electric Boogaloo, what you have seen and kind of what you guys have talked about a little bit last weekend was kind of the norms and values of modern society because of the virus and stuff like that. Um, Now, one of the things that you guys have probably seen, if you've been watching the news or anything else, are people that are kind of acting out against kind of the expectations that have been put on them by society. And in sociology, we call this deviance. Now, deviance does not, necessarily mean something creepy, even though it can, but really the idea is this. You have a society. You have rules of society. You have norms of society. You have the games of society that we all play as we go through our different roles and stuff like that. But there's two things. And one we kind of talked about and this was kind of in the realm of the games. You have, the games that we play. We have the rules that we play by these games, whether it be the game of school, the game of driving down the road, the game of, going to the movies with your friends. And you have those situations where somebody doesn't want to play by the rules. Little Timmy doesn't want to be it when he's tagged. Somebody wants to drive on the wrong side of the road, or they see the red light, they go slam on the accelerator. Um, those types of things. Well, from a sociological standpoint, we call those types of people deviants because they're deviating from kind of the expected norms of society. So, within society, you have mechanisms to control them, and we call those social controls. And that's really what today's all about. So, just remember, you have norms. Norms, remember, from a sociological standpoint, is whatever most people do in a society makes the norms. So, again, in Japan, students eat their lunch in their classroom. They don't actually have a cafeteria in Japanese schools. In the United States, people wear a lot of jeans. Um, Here at Taylor High School, a lot of people wear red. We have the red out days and stuff like that, or at least we would if we were at school. And so those are the norms. But again, depending on where you are, depending on the culture, doesn't matter. Food, what people eat. Chicago style pizza, very popular in Chicago. Here, not so much. But so again, these norms can be small, they can be big. And that's kind of a throwback to this. The types of social norms. Remember, you got your folk ways. We talked about this months ago. But these are the norms that stem from and organizes casual interactions. So just how people interact in a casual way. The mores, these are the norms that structure the differences between what is right and what is wrong in a society. Um, so yeah, what makes someone good? What makes someone bad? What is good behavior? What is bad behavior? Then you have your taboos, which are strong negative norms, where if somebody violates them, they cause extreme disgust. So like, murdering babies or something like that in the United States, that would be a taboo. Marrying your cousin, marrying your parents, taboo. Those cause big disgust reactions. And then you got your laws, which are usually taboos and mores are turned into laws. And these are where they're formally stated, these are formally recognized. If you violate these norms, then the government's going to come down on you. The popo is going to come get you. So a deviance, and a deviant are behaviors that differ from societal norms. So these can range from major actions like thieving and murdering and stuff like those types of things, or they can be small things like you're playing a board game with your friends and one of your friends decides that they're going to play by a different set of rules. Um, so again, whatever's kind of expected from somebody being in that situation, how are they supposed to act? What a deviant does is they act differently. Um, Now, in a very diverse society, low-level deviance, like for example, dress. Um, some women, some girls and women, they wear like burqas if they're Middle Eastern. If they're not Middle Eastern, they probably don't. That is, deviating from kind of the mainline society of wearing, not wearing a burqa in the States. So again, that's not really a big deal. Nobody cares. But again, that's kind of a deviant thing. Just meaning it's just different. So in a diverse society, low-level deviants like dress, food. Some people, like me, I'm probably deviant for this. I can't stand crawfish. It is gross and nasty and tastes like butt. That would probably make me a deviant in Louisiana and maybe even here too. I don't know. So again, a lot of it, again, in a very, very diverse society like the United States, it's really hard to point out to, and you almost got to get weirdly picky to really point it out. And I'm talking low level stuff, like things that people are just like, okay, you're different, whatever. Um, so that so that's kind of the thing. Now, bigger stuff. So again, like positive, negative deviance. This is kind of where you can notice things. So like a negative deviant behavior that underconforms to accepted norms. So like for example, basic example, weight. Um, So you have, someone that is, excessively overweight, not big bone, but they're literally a ton of fun. These are people that reject the norms of being, healthy. Um, People can reject these norms. They can misinterpret the norms. They can be unaware of the norms. People that show up to a country for the first time. Like, for example, if I was to take you guys and drop you in the middle of Japan, um, they would look really weird at you if you were like, "Hey, let's shake hands," because they don't want to shake your hands. They don't want to touch you. Um, the norm is to bow. To shake hands is to be deviant. To wear your shoes indoors in Japan is deviant behavior. You don't do that in Japan. Um, I don't know. Stateside, that's probably becoming more normal because of the coronavirus. It's probably one of the reasons why they got over it quicker. But again, so these negative deviants, these are behaviors that underconforms. Positive deviants are behavior that overconforms to social expectations. If you want to see these play out, look at Hollywood. Like, people talk about how women are, portrayed, over, maybe over sexualized on TV. Same thing as guys. You ever watch, the Captain America movie and you see Steve Rogers and he's, bulked up and everything else. Um, that is, in essence, positive deviance. So anything you see on TV, like body image, as far as men and women, um, that's positive deviance. It over conformity to kind of the norms and the values of the society, extremes in the perfectionist. You noticed Iron Man, really none of your actors and actresses, that none of them have a little fat on them unless that's part of their character or something. And the idea is to idealize the group norms. So now, just taking the body image thing, what can happen is because it's over conformity and it overly idealizes it, you can end up with anorexia. So again, that is anorexia, bulimia, the people that do those things for body image stuff. That is in essence positive deviance, because it's over conforming. Now what happens is it over conforms to a degree of you notice something is wrong, but again, you can consider that a positive deviance. So deviance every day in sociology. So because of the word deviant, how it is used, and kind of again for low level stuff like, oh, you like to eat this or you like to wear this, nobody really cares. So deviance in everyday sociology use. Sociologists, they generally reserve the term deviance for violations of significant social norms. So those mores, those taboos. If it's just a folkway thing, they don't care. It's not really that big of a deal. And really, from a societal standpoint, society really doesn't care. Nobody really cares if you wear a certain dress or certain clothing or anything, or eat a certain food. Smacking people in the head with a stick and forcing them to eat or dress that way, that's going to cause problems. So, because again, that violates the mores of you leave other people alone and mind your own business. Um, so, kind of because of that, deviance is usually, again, violations of significant social norms. So, running over a small baby with a car just because you wanted to, yeah, people will look at you crazy. That violates the mores and the taboos. Boom. Now, so we got these mores, we got these things that as a society we say are not good. Um, you know, blowing up babies, that kind of stuff. Um, Eating orphans. We have controls in place to make sure that those mores and taboos are not being violated. Because in the end, what all of society wants, we talked about this, I don't know, day 3. Societies, in essence, want to promote order. Societies want to exist. Again, there's that functionalist view where societies, they want to make sure they last longer than a month or a week or a day or a couple hours. They want to exist for decades or even centuries. So, within any culture, within any society, they have ways to promote things like order, keeping everybody in place, keeping everybody safe, so people don't go, something doesn't happen, people freak out and they start flipping cars over and setting them on fire. Stability, that is important too. A stable society lasts. An unstable society does not last. Typical rule of thumb is a stable society lasts longer than a generation. Like it lasts generations, 100 years, 200 years. An unstable society pretty much lasts about 20 years and that's it. And then with that comes predictability. If you can predict how people are going to respond, that is good. So if I can walk up to you and say, here's $100 just because, and you break down in tears and start crying and throwing a serious fit, that's not a very predictable response from what you would probably expect if I walked up to you and gave you $100 just because I like you. So to have social control, there's kind of two parts. You have the internal social control, and this is the control that lies within the individual. These are developed through the socialization process. So all those things that socialize you, whether it be your religion, your school, all those things, those instill the norms and values. That is your internal social control. On the flip side, you have your external social control, and these are your social sanctions, the rewards and punishments that society is going to put upon you um, because you either upheld or violated the social norms. So a positive sanction is, again, an award. You're in your own little society of your family, and you do your chores. Your parents look at you and go, you know what, you've done good. I'll raise your allowance. A promotion at work. You have a job. You show up and you do your job. And your boss looks at you and goes, you know what? You're a good employee. You do your job. I'm going to promote you. Even something where somebody smiles at you or you get a round of applause or anything like that. In essence, what they're doing is those are encouraging you to act a certain way. Then on the flip side, you got your negative sanctions. You say something and people look at you and be like, you're stupid. Or you show up to work and you don't do your job. You're lazy. You lay on the counter and you yell at the customers. Eventually, your boss is going to fire you. That is a negative sanction. You're driving down the road, you run over a baby. I really want to run over babies today. That's violate the social norm. You go to jail for it. But that is, again, negative sanctions. So positive sanctions are the good things that, in essence, make you want to do that again. Negative sanctions are the things that make you not want to do that again. And then on the flip side, or kind of building off this, is the idea of power. Because you have these controls, the question is who is in charge? So who mets out these positive sanctions and these negative sanctions? Um, so for example, just take a look at the school on a normal day when you're not at home. Who holds the power? There's really two groups. First are the administrators. Principals, administrators, sometimes teachers, the superintendents. They make the rules, they dish out the punishments. You get in trouble at school. Some of you guys may have experienced this. The write-up. You wrote up for falling asleep in class. You know somebody who got written up for cussing out a teacher. Those are, again, very formal, very formulaic. It's official. There's paperwork involved. On the flip side, you have the popular students. They hold a lot of power in the school as well because they hold the power that's given to them by the other students and sometimes the other adults or sometimes the adults. And they're able to, in essence, lead the student body and establish norms for the school through informal means. So again, like everybody knows this. Everybody knows who that popular kid is, and everybody wants to be like them. There you go. What's ironic is, and this is kind of how it works with a lot of like informal power structures, the minute that person is no longer popular, they're no longer, nobody follows them anymore. So this kind of goes to the, the formal power, the informal power. Formal power are official acts by an authority. An authority figure, they do something. President, principal, governor, mayor, all that stuff. They're official acts. And then you got your informal acts. These are acts that are done by anyone. So again, you're with your friends. Your friend says, hey, I want to see this movie. And all the other friends are just like, no, little kids watch that movie. Screw that. So again, that's informal power. Because anybody can do that. Anybody can say that a movie is for children. All right, that's pretty much it. Yeah, after this is another little discussion post after this video kind of on the list. And there's also a copy of the handouts for the notes that I've attached to it as well in the file. So you can go back, refer to it as well. But yeah, that's about all. Peace out.